Good. Cool, cool, cool. Alright, so, I tried to record this, and I'm dumb and new to this, so it did not have audio, so good on me. Anyway, um, I'm Filthy. This is my first video. Might be more in the future if it doesn't completely suck. It's gonna be choppy, it's gonna be bad, but that being said, I just kind of wanted to give my opinions on this season of Mythic Plus and the changes they put, especially for like the scaling. Um, and for a little background, I've been playing WoW since Wrath of the Lich King. Did a little raiding in Wrath. Took a hiatus until Shadowlands from any endgame content, really. Did Mythic Plus in Shadowlands. Been getting Keystone Master every season. Got Keystone Hero last season, like 2600. So not like super elite gamer, but I'm like decent at the game. I feel like I know at least a pretty well. I have a good view on the game from like very like casual to like middle of the road kind of like of times 20s. Um, I don't really want to push much higher than that because pugging those can get really toxic really quick. But yeah, so my whole thing is, I thought the changes were gonna be really good at starting out, and then as the seasons kind of progressed, it's just been kind of a nightmare pugging, which a majority of the community I would say probably does pug. So I think kind of keeping that in mind when making changes like this is really important. A huge thing is like when we look at, let's just go to Neltharis for ease of sake. Go to here. So we just go to heroics. The gear drops 476, so it's adventure gear. So adventure gear, if you're leveling up a one or a, like one weapon up to max, it's gonna be close to like 800 flight stones. If you're leveling up everything, it's easily gonna be over 2,000, almost 3,000, I think. And again, you can get some stuff from like world events, all that stuff. So before doing Mythic Plus, yeah, you can do some other stuff. But I would say realistically, it's going to cost you about 2,000. So then by the time you're like actually able to get comfortably into a Mythic Plus, and again, this is if you haven't done the season, you're a little rusty on mechanics from previous seasons, it's going to be a little rough. Just getting flight stones, you're going to be kind of on flight stones just by the time you get in, and then you're going to have to do a bunch of new ones, and it just doesn't feel smooth trying to make that transition into it. The difficulty is also a huge thing I have a problem with. Heroics still feel like dog shit. They still feel so easy. They just don't feel like a challenge at all. Where they should, Mythic Plus still, or Mythic Zeros back in the day still felt trash, but Mythic Zeros, I think that gap is way too big now. I think it's way too hard for people to transition. I think if they were to make heroics have the mechanics that mythics have, and then maybe still tighten up the numbers a little bit, make it a little harder from that, and then change it up to veteran gear. I think that transition would be way easier. I think it would make people a lot less angry going into dungeons because it's pretty stressful when you go into new dungeons. Again, this is from like a person who's pretty lower mid tier kind of player. Um, I think it would make it way less daunting too, because I've had so many groups where people just go in these don't know the mechanics, have like decent gear, like we'll say 490, but they're just getting bodied by stuff because they just don't know what they're doing. And I think that gap needs to be closed for like the sake of the community. So again, like if Mythic Plus was tuned more to like what fives were last season, or like seven, somewhere in that range, a little bit, and then you brought up heroics to be a little bit more, so like make them like what Mythic 2s or 3s would be, and then increase the gear for them. I think Champion going into Mythic Plus at the current is fine. I think it's good, especially if you kept it the same difficulty as now and then just raised up Heroic and then increase that gear. I think that'd be good. Again, it feels really daunting for a lot of those players. A lot of people don't want to do Raid. They might do Raid Finder, but like you're realistically not going to get that much gear out of Raid Finder per week. It just makes it very uncomfortable for a lot of people. And again, like if you're pugging, it's not going to feel good having to wait 4 or 5 weeks for people just to learn the mechanics so you can even just start pushing. And again, if you're pugging, it's kind of a nightmare. And if I go right here, I haven't done any this week, barely did any last week. But we look at my guild usually would be full on this. I mean, usually they're pushing pretty high. I usually don't run with them because I'm just not a good guildie, but that's just me. But yeah, so nobody's really running anymore. I know it's the end of the last season. People are just getting excited for the new expansion, but I really hope moving forward they don't keep these like ranges for difficulty. I really wish they'd squish that gap a little more because I kind of feel like that was the idea, but honestly, I feel like it made it worse. Because now Mythic Plus is like inaccessible for a lot of people that want to just go in there. And again, like if you're just trying to run some Mythics with your friends, carry them through, you just can't even do that anymore. Like you can do that in Mythic Zeros, but my one buddy was really struggling to not just get one shot every 2 seconds. He was pretty undergeared in fairness, but it's just not, it just doesn't feel good. Um, that's just kind of my opinion on it. I mean, I'm nobody on the internet, doesn't really matter. But yeah, probably not good to start your first video out being negative, but here we are. My next video will be about why Shadowlands is my favorite X pack. So yeah, good way to do that to yourself. But anyway, thanks for watching. If anybody does watch this, and yeah, see you next time.